Welcome back to today's fascinating coin collecting journey. Waving hand sign today we're exploring the top 4 most valuable United Kingdom half-crown coins, focusing on different years, mint varieties, and conditions that can significantly affect their value in the collector's market. These historic coins were once worth 2 shillings and sixpence, or 1/8 of a pound, and circulated widely across the United Kingdom for centuries. For collectors and investors, certain dates and rare varieties can be worth hundreds or even thousands of dollars depending on condition, rarity, and mint history. Let's get started. First up, the United Kingdom half-crown 1955. This historic coin may look ordinary at first glance, but many collectors and coin enthusiasts are curious about its real value. Could a circulated 1955 half-crown in your collection be worth more than you think? In this video, we will explore the coin's history, design features, rarity, collector demand even in worn condition, and its current auction market value in US dollars. If you enjoy learning about old coins and their hidden value, make sure to stay until the end. The 1955 half-crown was issued during the early years of the reign of Elizabeth II, shortly after she became Queen in 1952. The half-crown was part of Britain's traditional pre-decimal currency system, where 1 half-crown was equal to 2 shillings and sixpence. This coin circulated widely in everyday commerce across the United Kingdom. Half-crowns had a very long history, first introduced in the 16th century, and remained in circulation for centuries before being phased out in the late 1960s. The 1955 version was produced at the Royal Mint in London and had a mintage of approximately 23.6 million coins, which means it was relatively common during its time. Unlike older half-crowns that contained silver, coins minted after 1947, including the 1955 issue, were made from cupronickel, a durable alloy of copper and nickel designed for circulation rather than intrinsic metal value. The 1955 half-crown is admired by collectors for its classic British design and impressive size. The coin measures about 32 millimeters in diameter and weighs around 14 grams, making it one of the largest circulating coins of its era. On the obverse, the coin features a youthful portrait of Queen Elizabeth II designed by sculptor Mary Gillick. The Queen faces to the right, surrounded by the Latin inscription meaning Elizabeth II, by the grace of God, Queen. The reverse design is equally striking. It shows a crown shield representing the nations of the United Kingdom, 3 lions for England, 1 lion for Scotland, and a harp for Northern Ireland. Surrounding the shield are the words FID def, along with the denomination half-crown and the date 1955. These design details give the coin a strong sense of national symbolism and historical importance. Although the 1955 half-crown had a fairly large mintage, its collectability still depends heavily on condition. Most surviving coins today are found in circulated or worn states because they were used heavily in daily transactions. Collectors generally prefer coins in higher grades, but even circulated pieces still attract interest from beginner collectors who want to complete a full set of Queen Elizabeth II pre-decimal coins. Coins that are scratched, dirty, or heavily worn are usually considered common, yet they still hold historical value as pieces of British monetary history. Interestingly, some collectors look for unusual varieties, errors, or coins with unusual toning or wear patterns, which can sometimes increase demand. However, standard circulated examples remain widely available, so how much is a 1955 half-crown worth today? The answer depends mostly on condition and market demand. Price guides suggest that common circulated examples are typically worth only a small amount, often close to their collectible value rather than any metal value. In lower grades, the coin may be valued at around 20 pence to 40 pence, which is roughly 25 cents to 50 cents in US dollars. Coins in better condition, such as extremely fine or uncirculated examples, can reach £2 to £8 or more, which equals roughly $2.50 to $10 or higher depending on the quality and auction demand on online auction platforms and collector markets. Some attractive specimens have been listed between $5 and $24, especially when the coin appears well preserved, while this coin is not. Considered extremely rare, collectors still enjoy adding it to their collections because of its classic design and historical era. If you believe you have a 1955 half-crown, there are a few simple tips that can help you determine its potential value. First, examine the coin's condition carefully. Look at the portrait of Queen Elizabeth II and the shield on the reverse. If the details remain sharp and clear, the coin may be worth more. Second, check for unusual features such as minting errors, strong luster, or unusual toning. These factors can sometimes increase collector interest. Third, avoid cleaning the coin. Cleaning may seem like a good idea, but it often reduces the coin's collector value because it damages the natural surface. Finally, compare your coin with recent auction listings or consult a professional coin dealer to estimate its true market value. In conclusion, The 1955 United Kingdom half-crown is a beautiful piece of British history that reflects the early years of Queen Elizabeth II's reign and the final decades of Britain's pre-decimal currency system. Although circulated examples are not extremely rare and usually sell for only a few dollars, the coin still holds strong historical appeal for collectors around the world. Whether you found one in an old collection, inherited it from family, or discovered it in a coin jar, the 1955 half-crown remains an interesting and collectible artifact from mid-20th century Britain. Next up, the United Kingdom 1 penny from 1937. At first glance, this coin might look ordinary, especially if it's rusty or heavily circulated. But collectors know that even worn coins can carry fascinating stories and sometimes surprising value. In this video, we'll take a closer look at the history of the 1937 British penny, its unique design features, how rarity affects its value, and what a rusty or damaged example might sell for at auctions in dollars. If you enjoy discovering the secrets behind old coins, stay tuned because this coin has more history than you might expect. The 1937 1 penny coin was issued during the early reign of George VI, who became king after the abdication of Edward VIII in 1936. This period marked an important transition in British history, and the 1937 penny was among the first coins minted under the new monarch. The coin was produced by Royal Mint and was part of the traditional pre-decimal British currency system, where 240 pennies equaled £1. Around 88 million coins were minted in 1937, meaning the coin was widely circulated throughout the United Kingdom and the British Empire. Despite its large mintage, the coin remains historically important because it represents the beginning of George VI's bronze penny series. The coin, the 1937 UK penny, is a large bronze coin with a diameter of about 30.8 mm and a weight of roughly 9.4 grams. On the obverse side, you'll see the left-facing portrait of King George VI with the Latin inscription Georgiv 6DGBROMNF laughing smiley AND, which translates roughly to George VI, by the grace of God, King of all the Britons, Defender of the Faith, Emperor of India. On the reverse side is the iconic figure of Britannia, seated with a trident and shield. Behind Britannia is a lighthouse and the sea, symbolizing Britain's naval strength. The words 1 penny appear on each side of the figure, with the date 1937 at the bottom. This classic design is one of the most recognizable in British coinage and remained largely unchanged for many decades. The 1937 penny is historically significant. It is not extremely rare because millions were produced. Many examples survived in collections or old coin jars. However, condition plays a huge role in determining its value. A coin in brilliant uncirculated condition is far more desirable than one that is rusty, corroded, or heavily worn. A rusty coin usually indicates long exposure to moisture or improper storage, which can reduce collector demand. Still, some collectors enjoy owning even damaged examples simply because they are nearly 90 years old and represent an important era of British coinage. Even in rough condition, the coin can still have small collectible value due to its age and historical connection to the early years of King George VI. Current market value in dollars. So, how much is a 1937 United Kingdom penny worth today? The answer depends largely on condition. In general collector markets, typical examples range from about $1 to nearly $70 for high-grade uncirculated coins. Lower-grade circulated coins often sell for just a few dollars. In British price guides, worn examples may be valued at around 15 pence to £4 depending on grade, which is only a small amount in modern currency. If the coin is rusty or badly damaged, the auction value can drop significantly, sometimes selling for less than $1. However, coins with exceptional preservation, unusual minting errors, or proof versions can attract stronger bids from collectors at auctions. Tips for collectors: if you happen to own a 1937 penny or discover one in an old coin collection, there are several tips to keep in mind. First, never clean the coin aggressively, as cleaning can reduce its value to collectors. Second, examine the coin carefully for details such as clear lettering, strong portrait features, and minimal corrosion. Coins with sharp details tend to sell for higher prices. Third, consider storing old coins in protective holders or albums to prevent further rust or environmental damage. Finally, if you believe your coin might be in exceptional condition, it could be worthwhile to have it evaluated by a professional coin dealer or grading service. In conclusion, the 1937 United Kingdom 1 penny may not always be worth a fortune, especially in rusty condition, but it still holds great historical value. As one of the first coins issued under King George VI, it represents a significant moment in British history and the evolution of the nation's currency. While most circulated examples are only worth a few dollars today, high-quality specimens can reach much higher prices in collector markets. Whether you're a serious numismatist or just someone who enjoys discovering old coins, The 1937 penny is a fascinating reminder that even the smallest pieces of metal can carry decades of history. Next up, the United Kingdom half-crown 1953. This coin is especially interesting because it represents the very beginning of a new royal era in Britain. Even though many examples of this coin are still found in circulated condition, collectors around the world continue to search for well-preserved pieces. In today's video, we will look at the history behind this coin, its unique design features, its rarity in fine condition, and how much it can sell for in auctions today, especially when converted into US dollars. If you enjoy learning about rare coins and their hidden value, make sure to stay until the end. The United Kingdom half-crown 1953 was minted during the early reign of Queen Elizabeth II, shortly after she became monarch in 1952. The year 1953 was especially important because it marked the coronation of the young queen and the beginning of a new coinage design across the United Kingdom. The half-crown itself was a historic denomination that had been part of British currency for centuries. The coin was worth 2 shillings and 6 pence, which equals 1/8 of a pound in the old pre-decimal monetary system. This denomination had been issued since the 16th century and continued circulating until the late 1960s. By the time the 1953 half-crown was produced, the coin was made from cupronickel, because silver had already been removed from British circulating coins in 1947. The coin weighed about 14.2 grams and had a diameter of approximately 32 millimeters, making it one of the largest coins used in everyday British circulation at that time. One of the most interesting aspects of the United Kingdom half-crown 1953 is its elegant design. On the obverse side, you will find the first portrait of Queen Elizabeth II, showing the young queen facing to the right. This portrait was created by designer Mary Gillick and became one of the most recognizable images of the monarch in early coinage. The reverse side features a beautifully detailed crown shield displaying the royal coat of arms. Around the shield, the letters E and R appear, representing Elizabeth Regina, which means Queen Elizabeth. The shield itself represents the nations of the United Kingdom, including the 3 lions of England, the Lion of Scotland, the Harp of Northern Ireland. Another interesting detail collectors look for is a small variety in the lettering, specifically the position of the letter I in the word DEI relative to the rim beads. Different varieties exist, which adds extra interest for coin collectors and specialists. Although millions of these coins were produced, their value depends heavily on condition. The estimated mintage for one common variety of the 1953 half-crown was about 4.3 million coins. Because of this relatively high mintage, most examples found today are considered common. However, coins that remain in fine condition, meaning they still show clear details but have moderate wear, are still desirable for collectors building a complete set of Queen Elizabeth II coins. Collectors are especially interested in pieces that still have strong design details and minimal corrosion. Even coins that are slightly damaged or worn can still attract buyers because they represent the first year of Elizabeth II half-crown coinage, which adds historical significance. Now let's talk about the part everyone is curious about: the price. According to coin value guides, a 1953 half-crown in fine condition generally sells for around 20 pence to 50 pence, depending on its appearance and variety. When converted into US dollars, that equals roughly 25 cents to 65 cents USD for a typical fine condition coin. If the coin is in extremely fine or uncirculated condition, the price can increase significantly. Some examples may sell for $3 to $10 or more, while proof versions or certified high-grade coins can sometimes reach even higher prices at auctions. However, collectors should remember that the real auction value depends on several factors, including rarity, variety, overall eye appeal, and whether the coin has been professionally graded. If you own or are planning to collect the United Kingdom half-crown 1953, here are some helpful tips. First, always examine the condition carefully. Look at the Queen's portrait and the shield details to determine how much wear the coin has experienced. Second, check for design varieties, especially the position of the lettering around the rim. Some collectors specifically search for certain varieties, which can slightly increase value. Third, store your coins properly. Use coin holders, capsules, or albums to prevent scratches and corrosion. Proper storage helps preserve the coin's value over time. Finally, if you believe your coin is in exceptional condition, consider having it graded by a professional coin grading service. Certified coins often sell for higher prices at auctions. The United Kingdom half-crown 1953 may not be one of the most expensive coins in the world, but it holds an important place in British numismatic history. As the first half-crown issued during the reign of Queen Elizabeth II, it represents the start of a new royal era and remains a popular collectible among coin enthusiasts. Even coins found in fine or circulated condition can still be interesting additions to a collection, especially for beginners who want to explore historic British currency. With careful examination and proper storage, this coin can remain a valuable piece of history for generations to come. Next up, the United Kingdom 1 penny from 1945. At first glance, this coin may look ordinary, especially if it is damaged, worn, or heavily circulated. But many collectors know that even coins in rough condition can hold historical value and sometimes surprising auction prices. Moneybag. In this video, we'll look at the history of the 1945 British penny, its unique design features, collector demand, rarity and damaged condition, and its current market value in US dollars. If you enjoy discovering the hidden value of old coins, make sure to watch until the end. The 1945 1 penny coin was minted during the final year of World War II, a time when Britain and much of the world were facing enormous economic and social challenges. United Kingdom cross swords hash. During the reign of King George VI, the Royal Mint continued producing everyday coins so that the country's economy could function smoothly despite wartime shortages. The British penny had already been part of the currency system for centuries, but by the 20th century it was produced using bronze, a mixture of copper, tin, and zinc. The 1945 penny was struck in large numbers at the Royal Mint in London, as pennies were heavily used in daily commerce. Because of their extensive circulation, many of these coins became heavily worn, scratched, bent, or damaged, which is why collectors today often encounter them in less than perfect condition. Despite the high mintage, coins from the wartime period carry historical significance, making them appealing to collectors who appreciate the story behind the coin. The obverse, or front side, of the 1945 penny features a portrait of King George VI facing left. Around the portrait is the Latin inscription Georgiv 6D GBROMN Rex F laughing smiley INDIMP. This translates roughly to George VI, by the grace of God, King of all the Britons, Defender of the Faith, Emperor of India. The reverse side shows the famous seated figure of Britannia, a powerful symbol of Britain's strength and maritime heritage. Britannia is holding a trident, representing naval power, while a shield with the Union Jack rests beside her. The word 1 penny appears above the figure, and the year 1945 is displayed below. The coin itself measures about 30.8 millimeters in diameter and weighs around 9.45 grams. Its large bronze design makes it one of the most recognizable coins of the pre-decimal British currency system. While the 1945 penny is not extremely rare, its value depends greatly on its condition. Coins in uncirculated or mint condition are much more desirable, but even damaged or heavily circulated examples still attract collectors. Why? Because many people collect date sets of British pennies, meaning they try to obtain at least one coin from each year of the series. If a collector is working on a budget, they may choose a lower grade or damaged coin just to fill the spot in their collection. Another reason is historical interest. Coins produced during wartime periods are often kept as historical artifacts, and even a scratched or worn 1945 penny represents a small piece of the era when World War II was coming to an end. Now let's talk about the auction and collector market value. For a 1945 United Kingdom 1 penny in damaged or very worn condition, the value is generally quite modest. Most examples sell for around 50 cents to $3 depending on the level of wear and whether the date and design are still clearly visible. If the coin is heavily damaged, bent, or corroded, it may only sell for a few cents to about $1 in bulk coin lots. However, coins in better circulated condition, where the design is still fairly clear, can reach $5 to $15 on some online marketplaces or auctions. Exceptional pieces with strong detail can occasionally sell for $20 or more, especially if demand among collectors is high. Although it's not a high-value coin in most cases, the historical importance of the 1945 penny still makes it an interesting collectible. If you find a 1945 British penny, here are a few tips before selling or adding it to your collection. First, check the condition carefully. Even small differences in wear can affect the coin's value. Look at the details of Britannia and the portrait of King George VI to see how much design remains. Second, avoid cleaning the coin. Cleaning can damage the surface and reduce its value significantly. Many collectors prefer coins with their original natural patina. Third, consider checking online auction sites to compare recent selling prices. This can help you determine a realistic value before selling. Finally, if you are serious about coin collecting, you might consider building a complete set of British pennies from different years, which can be a fascinating and educational hobby. In conclusion, the United Kingdom 1 penny from 1945 may not be the rarest coin in the world, but it holds a meaningful place in British history. United Kingdom, from its wartime production under King George VI to its iconic Britannia design, this coin represents a significant moment in the mid-20th century. Even in damaged condition, the coin still has collector interest and typically sells for a few cents to several dollars, depending on its appearance and demand. For collectors, the real value often lies not just in the price but in the story and history behind the coin. If you enjoyed learning about this coin, don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and share it with other coin enthusiasts. Who knows, the next coin in your pocket might be a hidden treasure.